All right, on the bench today, out of a 1987 Chevy Corvette, we have the good old 700 R4 or 4L60. So what's going on with this is car was towed in to us. Guy's been back and forth for a while. He finally towed the car in. Based on his complaint, I never drove the car, but the car did not shift out of first and no reverse when it was hot. So that is what is written down on our sheet that we have the people fill out when they come in. So we got the okay to do it. We're going to open it up and see what we find. Being the fact that this is a 1987, this is 700 R4 with an auxiliary valve body, which you'll see when I take the pan down. They started this in 1987 pretty much to improve the overall performance of the transmission, smoother engagements, better shifts. And a lot of times you can look at the case and tell if it's an auxiliary or not. And this didn't have that, so I had to drop the pan to confirm it because it was a 1987. Normally, there is like a casting ridge that goes across here. So when I was ordering my banner kit, I was talking to my rep and I said, you know, it's an 87 700 R4 and I want to get a banner kit. He goes, is it auxiliary or not? And I says, well, it should be, but let me go take a look. And I just looked at the case and it didn't have the ridge. So I went back and said, you know, let me call you back. Let me take the pan down because it doesn't have the ridge that I was looking for. And I dropped the pan and sure enough it was, which I kind of figured, but hey, let's make sure. So we get the right kit delivered because with the auxiliary, the valve body gaskets are different than the regular. So I want to make sure you get the right stuff so when it comes to it, I don't have to worry about ordering it when I'm ready to get it. All right, so no shift out of first and no reverse hot. I remember I had a 700 come in once out of a Corvette, another early Corvette, and the customer's complaint was no shift out of first. So when I opened it, the 2/4 band was burnt out and the 3/4 clutches were burnt out. So the band comes on at second, the other clutches comes on in third and fourth. So it couldn't do anything other than stay in first. So that was the no, you know, you get a no shift, you think, okay, maybe the valve is stuck, the throttle valve is stuck for the TV cable. You know, the governor gear maybe broke or worn out or something, but this one was a burnt band and burnt clutches. So it couldn't do anything but be in first gear. All right, so let's take this thing apart. I want to get the extension housing off, the governor out. We're going to get the side servo out, and then we can go ahead and get into tearing this transmission down. I did take the speedometer out. It does have a speedometer gear, you know, which comes off in case you have to change it, and then you got a couple of wires go in there. But this thing is plastic, and the transmission honestly has been sitting on the bench for about a week. We pulled the transmission out and pushed the car out because the guy wanted to come back and put his car cover over the Corvette, you know, while it's here. So, you know, we had the room, so we said, let's just pull it, push it out, and get him back here to cover it. And it's been sitting on the bench, and, you know, it's always busy here. It's never slow. And, you know, when the guys need something to work on the bench, if I'm busy, they may, you know, push the transmissions over just so they can get a spot on the bench. And, you know, you're constantly moving this thing around, and I didn't want this thing to break. So I took this out, like the vehicle speed sensor, if you will. All right, so let me get a little closer, and then we'll start with the extension, governor, servo, and take the trans apart and see what we find. Okay, so let's start by getting this rear seal out here. Okay. All right, now we got a 15. I don't know if I'll be able to get in there with a socket, but let's see what we can do. Let me get a small extension here. so here is your Corvette extension housing. All right, this bushing looks a little worn. So we're going to change this bushing out for the extension. Okay, that aside. Now we have our speedometer gear. So I like to try to take that off too so it doesn't break when we're taking the extension housing off. I'm going to push down on the tab that locks the gear in place, and I have these pliers. I use these to crimp the straps on the like for an axle. See if we can just get this thing moving. All right, you have two holes here. So you want to, you got two holes here. So you want to just see which one came out. If you're not sure, and you like say put it in the top hole, put the extension housing on and make sure the gear is right in the middle. If it's off to one side, it's in the wrong spot. Okay, I don't know, I guess somebody's also filled with silicone here. I don't know, somebody was probably in here at one point. All right, let's get the cover off. Governor, assembly. This thing also has silicone on it. There's your governor assembly. Well, it doesn't seem like it's moving, but we have to take it apart and clean it up. Okay. Now we got our servo for the band. This is moving okay. Sometimes those things get frozen in there. So let's get it out. So this is moving pretty good. So now we're going to stretch out the O-ring. Okay, this probably was done at some point. I got to look at the converter and see if the converter looks like it was changed. Okay. All right. Pull this thing off here. There we go. Okay. Okay, piston for the band, and of course it has the Corvette servo piston in it. I certainly hope it will. Okay, I'm going to take the O-ring off here for the lockup on the converter. Let's go ahead and get the pump bolts out. 13mm. So I did have this pan down. Okay, here's the pan, got some crap in it, got some fine metal in there. Filter, typical 700 filter, flat. This. Let me get a little closer up here. All right, so here is the pipe for the auxiliary valve body. Here is the auxiliary valve body. Here is your, for the detent, for the cable, I'm sorry, for the cable, the TV valve. All right, let's get the detent off here, the roller. All right, now we're going to remove the pipe from the trans. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get the lock up. Okay, right here. We have a pressure switch. I'll plug that. Okay, and this will go. So here's our lockup switch. Let's get this accumulator out. And it looks like somebody was in here because they put this on top. Give it probably a harder shift. They stacked a few of them. I'll probably put it. Okay. Like I said, we never drove this. You know, we couldn't drive it. It didn't shift out at first, but yeah, somebody put a couple of accumulators here and no spring, so we'll give it a firm 1-2 shift. I mean, the guy wasn't complaining about anything, you know, about the way it shifted. Okay, let's get this auxiliary valve body out. Gonna need an 8. Just gonna put it up like this because I believe there is a checkboard possibly. That's down in. All right, let me just get a, yeah, 1 second. Just want to get a chrome socket thinner to get in there. Okay. 8mm bolt there. no check wheel on this one. Let me look in there with a light. Let me just get my small flashlight. Here's a check wheel. I have a feeling it would take one. That goes there. Okay. Also accumulator piston in here. All right, yeah, this is Trans Tech, so somebody rebuilt this transmission already. Don't know how long ago, but somebody did something to this. Okay, now let's get the valve body out. Okay. Make sure that valve is nice and free. All right, we're going to let this whole thing out here. This one. There must be some form of kit in here because it should take a check bolt here. There's none. So we got one here. Let's get rid of that link. See, there's usually one here. I don't think it fell anywhere. One here. One here. And nothing here usually takes one there too. We got 1, 2, and 3. Let me just mark those areas because I'm actually just breaking this down now. And I'll probably build it not right away, but I have a chance to tear it down. Okay. Another accumulator. This seems good. Okay. I'm going to do some research and see if I can find out what was put in this thing. We'll see what we find. All right, here's the separator plate, valve body. Got 2 check balls in the valve body. So we'll just leave this for now. Back to that. All right, we're going to get this bracket off of the parking. So let's see if we can get this pump out. pump will open up. Just face that down, face the camera a little more downward. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna unhook the band from the linkage, from the pan anchor. Here is a washer for the pump. All right, so this, and here's the sun gear. Now we got a snap ring. Clip out. There's the clip here. I'm going to pull the front planet set out. Okay, you got a bearing here. And you got a bearing here that doesn't come out, so you just want to make sure this bearing is good too. Shell, 4-tab washer. This shell, like I said, I'm not sure what was done to this. Oh, here is a 4-tab that goes on the center support. But this is going to be replaced with a hardened shell. You know, these things strip out. It could break or it could just strip out, which would give you no second, no fourth, and no reverse. So automatically that's going to be changed. All right, now we're going to get the snap ring out. Okay. There's the snap ring. All right, so now we can push on the output shaft and push everything forward. Now the case is a little worn, it may not come out so easy because the center support is going to be twisted a little bit. So I stick my snap ring pliers in between the case and the center support. This one actually looks pretty good, but I stick it in between the case and the lug of the center support where the anti-rattle clip is. And then I push it on it for it to come out. Like a lot of the 406 is that way. This one didn't seem too big. Here's the anti-rattle clip. If you leave this out, this thing would bump on the downshift because the center support's turning and hitting the case. Okay, here's the center support. To check these gears are steady and not rocking. That looks good. Okay. Output shaft. Got a bearing that goes on the rear planet. And you got a bearing here. Okay, the case bushing rod's here, which I'm going to change, but this feels okay. Low reverse. Now we'll get into taking the spring out of here. All right, so just the piston is in the back. Other than that, the case is stripped. Let's see if any other anything's going to fall out. No, nothing. Okay. All right, so what I want to do is get rid of this oil, and then we'll open the pump. We'll open up the drums, take a look at the sprigs, and finish it up. But he said did not shift out at first. Let me get the band anchor out of here. Here is the anchor for the band. Did not shift out at first, and I think we verified it. And no reverse hot. All right, just give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. All right, let's take a look. First, here is reverse input. These are usually always pretty good. All right, let's get the big input drum apart. We got a bearing and a washer under here. The bearing first, the washer is you know, when you put this together, a washer first and then the bearing. So I'm gonna leave it turned over in here with it over to the side, so when they drop, they won't fall through onto the floor. All right, so first we're gonna check out the 3/4 clutch. Let's get that snap ring out. You know, burnt, but overall, not bad. You know, I'm not sure what kind of kit this guy could have, but they were, you know, check balls missing. Where a check ball should go, you know, there's 2 holes in the plate. But there was no check ball in there in a couple of spots, so it looks like these forwards may be burnt. Looks like the pressure plate is burnt. Let's see what they look like. Yeah, they're wiped out. All right, so here's one of them. Now this thing didn't shift out at first. I'm surprised it even moved. Clutches and steels wiped out. Okay, the bearing just dropped. Okay, there it is. Then we have a bearing here and a little like plastic bushing. This comes in the kit. Now the washer dropped. So I'll put that there. All right, now the underdrive clutch. All right, so let's get, oh, the other one just dropped. Okay, all right, so let's get the drive. All right, the steels are okay, but the clutches are bad. And once again, the forward clutch, there's nothing left. I mean, there's nothing left on this one. It's metal. So these are shot, so we're gonna get steels for the forwards. Solid rings here we're going to replace. Okay, feels good where the bushings ride, the stator bushings. That looks good. All right, let's check out the sprig. Now this is the input sprig. Let's see. There is an updated sprig. Let's see if it's in there. Both sprigs for me are changed every oh. This sprig has been updated, yes, but I'm changing it anyway. Okay, you see there is a dual cage here, dual cage sprig. That's the updated one. What usually comes through with a single cage. So I don't want to lose the snap ring. I'm going to check out the low sprig. So this here, through. Okay, race feels good. Let's get the snap ring out. Okay, and take the sprig out. Okay, that's going to be changed as well. All right, pump, washer, feels good. In here, no grooves. Okay. All right, let's open up the pump, check it out. there was some crap in the pan. You know, when I was cleaning the oil and stuff, I went to look at the converter. The converter does not look like it was changed. You know, it's very possible the screen maybe was clogging up for a no reverse hot. He didn't say it didn't move. He didn't say it didn't move forward when it was hot, but he said no reverse hot. So that could be a problem there, I'm thinking. But I'm not sure if this thing, you know, what happened when it got hot. Because we drove it down a block, it didn't shift, you know, the oil didn't look too good. So then we were able to bring it in and pull it, because he says, I want to cover the car, I want to cover the car. So, okay, here's the pump. Pump looks good. So I'm going to pull the pressure regulator assembly is here. Boost valve is here. They give you 3 different sizes on the boost valves. I believe there are .430, .470, and .50, but with the Corvettes, I always go with the .50. Actually, anytime I do one of these 700 all-4s, I always put the 50 in. All right, here is centering ring for the vanes. Okay, another ring. Plastic washer for the pump gear. Okay, there's the inner spring, slide spring. And then we got, take the pump slide out. All right, we have our slide seals, also a metal ring and O-ring under here. Comes in the metal ring does not come in the kit. On the 700, well, you know what? I know maybe it does on the 700 on the 700 all-4s, but in the 460s it does not come in the kit. So you got to be very careful not to break it and put it back with a new O-ring. All right, here is the pivot pin, and there is a spring down in here, a little tiny spring. Okay, this is very good. So this pump is good to go. Let me see if I can get this boost valve out. All right, let's take a look here. Can't even see in there myself. Let me just try a different set of pliers here. Wow. All right. Here's a little clip. Now, get the boost valve out. This doesn't doesn't look like it's the 5.0. It looks like it's probably the 4.7. I always go with the 5.0 on these things. It's actually the smallest one. So this is going to be changed. That's what it looks like there. We'll get the rest of it out. Spring. And the valve. So this is that setup. Okay. So that's it for this 700R4 or 4L60. I'm going to actually probably reach out to this guy during the week and see if I can get some history on the car, because somebody did work on this and I don't know if he had the work done or if he bought the car. So I'd just like to find out, but somebody definitely worked on it because we got Trans-Tech gaskets for the valve body. I mean, did they just have the valve body down and maybe do some form of a shift kit, but there was check bowls missing. Not really sure why that is. You know, a lot of times they want you to plug the hole, but there was 2 holes where a check bowl should go. You're supposed to put it in. So I'm going to find out what's going on and get the parts that I need on order. Here is the filter for the PR. If you leave this thing out, you get like no line pressure. So this keeps the crap, you know, out of the valves. So this is also an auxiliary valve body. So this would be a banner kit, a shell. I'm going to get the high energy band, a 5.0 boost. I got to get steels, the forward steels. The bushings are going to get done. No real hard part damage, sprags. Typical overhaul for the 700R4. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you next one.